The days are longer, the calendar is filling up, and I want to feel as good as this beautiful summer weather. That's why I've been loving Groons. It's one daily pack of gummies that covers my greens, vitamins, and minerals, and even has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber. So I don't need to juggle a complicated wellness routine on top of everything else. They taste amazing. They're easy to toss in my bag on the go. Plus, they're vegan, gluten free, and HSA, FSA eligible for reimbursement. Save up to 52% off with promo code podcast at gruns.co. That's code podcast at gruns.co.
Welcome back to Chin Music, our baseball show at TalkNorth.com. Today's lineup, former Twins star, former Twins broadcaster, longtime Talk North stalwart, Roy Smalley, Lavelle E. Neal, baseball columnist baseball writer and columnist and baseball guru at the Star Tribune, also a big part of TalkNorth.com here. I'm Jim Suhan from TalkNorth.com and the Star Tribune. We appreciate you listening. Best way to listen to this show or any show you like at the network, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studio, and we're presented to you by OnX Maps and OnX Fish. I'll tell you more about them and our other sponsors here in a little bit. All right, we are talking here on Wednesday morning, and Taj Bradley was probably the story of the season for this team. You know, the first of the many pitchers they traded for to look like he is really dynamic. Since he came back from his injury, he has not looked the same. What are you seeing, Roy? You seeing rust? You seeing the league catching up with him? What's happening here?
I think so far it's rust. I'm hoping on rust. It's amazing to me how it happens. It's universal. If you're on the mound, if you have command of your pitches, you'll be good. If you don't have command of your pitches, it doesn't matter how good your stuff is. Big league hitters are big league hitters. And what we're seeing with Taj Bradley is just before being able to throw pitches where he wanted to throw it. And most importantly, not throwing pitches where he doesn't want to throw it. In this particular example, a lot of cutters in the middle of the strike zone. And that's just, I'm hoping it's rust coming back. He just lost a little mojo, and that he'll get that command back, because the stuff is real. And if the command becomes real again, then he's going to be what he was before he got hurt. I'm hoping that's what it is. But my thought today is, it's amazing to me how great stuff can be tattooed in the big leagues if you're not throwing it where you want to throw it.
That's true. I mean, we've seen after the last few outings with him, it makes you wonder. You know, he was on the injury list with a pectoral muscle issue, and did he totally lose like his touch on his pitches during that time? Well, how long does it take to make the adjustment? He's allowed, I think in 18 innings, he's allowed 32 base runners and that's 12 on walks. So that's not going to cut him. I think he has a 7 ERA over his last 4 outings, after having a 2.87 ERA his first 8 starts. And he was looking like a stud. So I'm going to hold out confidence, because I was hyping Bradley as a no-hitter waiting to happen. And I'm going to stand by my provocative statement and hope that, he's able to get his good command back and is able to start, looking like the dominant force that he did during his first 8 starts. So it's unfortunate. It happens to a lot of pitchers. They get injured and have to go on an injured list to come back, and it takes a while for them to get it going. And maybe Todd is hopefully emerging out of this rough patch after coming off the injured list.
And before we started the show, Roy was teasing Lavelle, because Lavelle is basically guaranteed that Taj Bradley's going to throw a no-hitter, and he's throwing many hitters now.
Yeah.
You know what? That stuff, I'll stand by that with you, Lavelle. I was teasing you, but that's no-hitter stuff. There's no question about it. But again, it just points at it's another vector into my point, which is no-hitter stuff. If you're throwing it in the middle of the plate, hanging breaking balls, and it becomes many hitter stuff, to your point, Jim.
Yeah, start with strike one, go from there.
Yeah.
Did they make a mistake by getting rid of Simeon Woods Richardson? A, they need all the arms they can get or keep right now, and B, he actually looked good in his first outing. Or is that just the easy knee-jerk second guess because he did pitch well in his first outing with the Jays?
I wish he was still with the Twins. I think, given the state of the whole rotation, the whole pitching staff, I was stunned that they decided to designate him for assignment. They need all the able arms they can have. If everybody was healthy, I'd feel a little different. But we're at critical mass now. You've got, other than Joe Ryan, you're starting to wonder what else you're getting. Well, Zebby's been pitching better as well. But, regardless if the start is good as bad or bad, as soon as the start is coming out of the game, it's up for grabs. I mean, the Twins bullpen's ranked 26 in baseball, So their only chance is if they get 6 strong innings from their starter and they can able to get a couple innings like Andrew Morris and figure out who's going to pitch tonight, they can't even get to that part of the formula right now. So giving up on Simeon, instead of maybe hitting a reset button with him, I know being out of options makes it tricky. When you're trying to get other bodies on a roster, you need some length in the bullpen. You need a fresh arm. You end up making tough decisions, no doubt. But I thought over what he's done over the last couple of years, stepping up at times when they really needed him, trying to make adjustments to his game, and I thought he was kind of more of a survivor, and he was just hitting a bad spot here, breaking down and just not pitching effectively. I was hoping there's something he could pitch through and pitch his way out of it in the bullpen, but the Twins needed another body and decided to make the move. Best of luck to Simeon. I think, given the state of the Twins pitching staff, it was ill-advised.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the opposite position. I don't have a strong feeling about whether to keep him or not keep him, but a couple of things occur to me. And your point about options is a good one, Lavelle. It'll be part of my thesis here because they're looking for they're going to be looking for roster spots. They've got guys in AAA that are going to come up at some point in time, and they're going to be looking for roster spots, and they're looking for guys, and especially young guys that are going to be pitching well or are going to be swinging the bat really well, to come up and supply some additional electricity, because there's not a lot right now anywhere in to either the lineup or the bullpen. So I think they're looking down the road and saying, okay, he's out of options. What are we gonna do? We could use his roster spot at some point in time. And the reason we can use his roster spot because he's just been teasing us too long. Yeah, he has done some really, really good things. And every time he does good things in the last 3 or 4 years, you say, okay, now he's got it. And then he doesn't got it. And it's been up and down and up and down and up and down. And, when you say you need somebody to go to 6 innings, that has never been Simeon Woods Richardson. He's never been, I'll give you 6. He's been, at best, he has been, I'll give you 4 really good and 2 outs into the 5th most of the time. And every once in a while he would have jerked up a good one. But I just, it is as you say, a tough decision, but I can see saying, I don't know, he's out of options, and we need bodies, and who's the real one? I mean, I think he could go to Toronto and get it figured out potentially, but I also think that it's we'll see. I think him going to Toronto and pitching well this first time, that's kind of on brand for me, and we'll see how the rest of the season goes.
I will say this: in his last outing, when he came out, I think he came out of the bullpen. Someone had to leave a. Oh, is that when someone couldn't start and Simeon was an emergency starter and he got rocked and knocked out of the game? He looked like a guy who was out of answers when he was sitting in the dugout. And at that point, I wondered if the Twins had run out of things to say or try to get him going and decided that maybe better off with a new start, a fresh start somewhere else. Maybe that may have been the case as well. Something I'll have to ask about next time I get over there.
My thing is, I just don't see it as great stuff. I think he's got to be really fine with it. And how many times have we said that about a young pitcher? Oh, stuff isn't great, but if he pitch, it's hard to pitch in the big leagues these days if you can't throw it by people or if you're not Greg Maddux.
Well, when you're pitching Simeon and Bailey over back to back, you got two of those guys.
But I think Bailey's stuff plays better than his velocity readings. I think his changeup is outstanding. I don't know if Simeon has an outstanding pitch.
I think that's a true statement. That's the problem is it was not that he came up with another pitch. It was that he didn't have one put away pitch. He didn't have one great pitch that he could count on. And Bailey Bailey Ober has a great changeup. I'm going to get you out with this pitch. And for the most part, he throws it in good spots and he can throw it when people.
Oh, Roy, we lost your audio, Roy. Can't hear you at the moment. So check your settings, or did you want to finish your point? Or should we
I don't
move
know.
on?
I don't know where I started and whether it's worth finishing. I don't know where I cut.
That's the story of my career, Roy. I never know where I am.
I don't know where I cut out.
Well, let's get to a different topic, because I think this is now that the Twins are kind of in the tank and it's all about the kids. They're playing utility players at shortstop, and their best player right now at AAA is a shortstop. Culpepper continues to swing the bat really well. I've watched him recently on a few games. I really like his swing. Quick, athletic. He can steal bases. He can do everything. My big question is, and let's start with Lavelle on this one: is he a good fielding shortstop? Do we know the answer to that yet?
Roy's going to love this answer. The Twins maintain they believe that he can play shortstop. So he's been at short the entire time for St. Paul. And he's definitely put up numbers, and he's making himself noticed. But I have not heard any doubts from the Twins about Culpepper's ability to play shortstop. So yeah, it's going to come down to how much you want to see Tristan Gray or Kreidler at short, or even a little bit of Orlando or Arcia. But it's getting close to that point. I was just looking at their fans are clamoring for Culpepper, but, there's other guys swinging the bat. Eris Abato has hit well there. But now that Royce Lewis is playing some first base in addition to second, I think the writing's on the wall for him. But you had guys like Kyler Fecco and Harry Mendez that are playing well for St. Paul as well. None of those guys I mentioned are on the 40-man. So they're going to have to make moves to get all those guys on the roster. Now, you can always find someone, or I think all their 60-day ILs, I think that list is full. I think there's 3 guys on that list. But there's always ways you could find someone to lop off a roster. But for all the guys who are deserving it at St. Paul right now, and given the state of the Twins, you wonder if it's almost time for a little bit of a mini upheaval here and getting Culpepper and maybe one of these other hitters up here. So I think it's getting to the point where, why not? Let's see Kalen Culpepper.
I'm really looking forward to seeing him play. I haven't seen him play over there. It's I don't know whether what the barrier is. It's hard for me to get across the river. I just don't know how
it works both ways. There are a lot of people in St. Paul will not come to Minneapolis as well.
Another layer to this thing. Alan Roden is starting to rehab. He just moved to Fort Myers on his rehab stint, so he's slowly getting back in the mix. Mick Abel is pitching tonight against Toledo and Justin Verlander. So we got some guys getting close. Unfortunately, Cole Sands had to be stopped from his rehab because he apparently didn't respond well after his first outing. That's a blow for the bullpen because that's one of their veteran guys. So, but in terms of like Roden getting back into the mix, Warner's hitting the ball better. You got a bunch of bodies moving into position here. So I want to see how the Twins are going to handle this on the major league level.
All right, we got some big picture topics to get to. We do first want to remind you we're coming from the Aquarius Home Services studio.
Scott for Aquarius Home Services. Yes, we all love summer, but if your air conditioner's acting more like an oven than a fridge, now's the time to trade in and trade up with an additional $500 off on top of our summer sale pricing on a new cooling system from Aquarius. Enjoy a cool, comfy home all summer long. Schedule your free estimate today at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
And we'll remind you that we're presented by Onyx Maps and Onyx Fish. It's a planning tool and a navigation tool, offline maps, turn by turn to the boat ramp, public, private land layers. Onyx has been doing this for hunters for years, and now it's built for anglers. Spring is the right time to explore new water. Fish are moving shallow, activity is high, and Onyx Fish helps you identify which lakes have the conditions and species you're targeting. It's only $34.99 for the year. Download Onyx Fish on the App Store or go to onyxmaps.com/fish and fish smarter this season. We also are sponsored by the Minnesota Twins, and we all love baseball, and we all see value in going out on a nice day or a nice night and sitting at the ballpark. And listen, the team's struggling, we know that, but the ballpark can still be a cool place to spend time.
Here is where it all starts. Here's where pages are turned and new legends are written. Here's where kids become lifelong fans and lifelong fans become kids. Here's where sunsets last longer, happy hour tastes better, and summer hits its stride. And when all of Twins territory stands together and believes hard enough, well, there's no place like here. Get your tickets at twins.com.
True Vision Institute in Bloomington. Go to truevision.com to set up your free consultation. Get in there, go through all of the steps that they take you through. It's an exhaustive but a very, very intelligent and educating process about all of the vision correction options that are available to you. I had LASIK surgery with True Vision about 2 years ago now. And it's been just an incredible thing for my life. I don't have to deal with the hassles of glasses and contacts anymore. I see clearly, both up close and far away. And if you're watching this on YouTube right now, you can see that no glasses. And so I don't have to worry about constantly, are these glasses fashionable, or am I in the right style now? Is my prescription up to date? Do I have to go back and get another batch of daily contacts? Like, all of that hassle is gone, and my life is so much easier because I went to True Vision in Bloomington. So go to truevision.com, set up your consultation, tell them the John Krasinski Show sent you, and get on with living your best life after LASIK surgery at True Vision.
Summer routines live or die by how easy they are. And honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groons is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at Groons.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
All right, I think in future editions here, we're going to be talking about who the Twins might be looking to trade. We also have to ask the big picture question. How do the Twins stay relevant when the on-field product is not good right now? I think the last baseball topic for today, though, is just minor league injuries. I mean, not only the major league team shredded by injuries, but we haven't heard from Walker Jenkins or Emma Rodriguez in a long time. Lavelle, where are they?
I'm glad you asked that, because I knew this question was coming. So I reached out to someone at St. Paul and I was like, how about Saints injury updates? I'm about to go on the podcast and I know they're going to ask me. The response was, outside of Roldan starting rehab and moving on to Fort Myers, not much else. Walker should be starting rehab very soon as well. Emmanuel Rodriguez, as usual, is a little ways off. You throw in Mick Abel starting tonight. Opposite Verlander. I actually would rather see St. Paul and Toledo on television tonight, I think, than the Twins and the Tigers. That's about it. Sands having a setback. So that's all I'm getting in terms of minor league rehab issues at St. Paul.
Buck is, one more baseball topic. Buck is on his way to having a bizarre and kind of wonderful year. His home run rate is astronomical. He keeps on having minor injuries that set him out for 3 to 6 days or something. When he's in the lineup, he hits home runs. So by the end of the year, at this pace, he would play 120 games, hit 55 home runs, and have 80 RBI.
Yeah, 50 home runs and 80 RBIs that's a bit of a red flag. And he's got 19 and I think 30, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and we saw an evidence of it. Again, I've talked about this, probably too much. We just have to enjoy Buck for being Buck and not wish that all of that talent that he has could be channeled in a way to get more out of it, because he's just going to miss a lot. And the strikeout with the bases loaded on the down and away slider last night, I mean, that was the, prototypical example of 19 home runs and 30 RBIs and not getting as much out of that incredible talent. He's given up on right center field and given up on being able to, and I don't. When I say given up, I just mean he's just going to be who he is. I'm not. This is not a pejorative statement about Buck. Buck is going to be who Buck is, and it's a delight to watch. My only thought, again, this is my only thought. That's why I keep saying it week after week after week after week. He has Puckett talent. He has Miguel Cabrera talent. He has Molitor type talent, guys that use the whole field and hit 300 and drove in 100 runs and, all that stuff. And, Buck's got to hit 50 to get close to 100 because he hits the way he hits, So, once again, you watch the best defensive center fielder on the planet, and a guy's going to hit 40 home runs, and let's just enjoy that. In the meantime, I just sit and watch and shake my head and think, boy, what if?
I know. Amazing.
Yeah, you would like to see Buck. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead, LeBron.
So you like to see Buck just take a ball up the middle to the right center like we've always talked about, and he would really be so much more dangerous as a hitter. But it's still enthralling to watch him get in the batter's box and get a good pitch to hit and not miss. He's getting himself out on bad pitches, but when he's gotten something over the plate, he's really not missing. He's putting a swing on it and driving it. Yesterday, first pitch was kind of like a get me over pitch, and he was waiting for it and knocked the crap out of it. It's fun to watch him play the game. You just wish if he took one more step in terms of his approach, how devastating he could actually be. So, but he's still.
I just wish he'd take a half a step. He doesn't even have to take the next step. Take a half a step. You get 2 strikes, choke up, and hit it to right field. Oh, just with 2 strikes. Just have a different 2-strike approach, right? Put the ball in play. How many base hits would he get? Broken bat, off the end, leg him out, infield hits. Would he get if the strikeouts got cut in half, even with weak contact? What if half the strikeouts became weak contact? How many more hits would he get? A lot. And how many big hits would he get? Because he's just choking up and trying to hit the ball to right center, and all of a sudden somebody hangs a breaking ball and it goes in the seats, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't realize I would do that automatically with choked up and hit with 2 strikes." That's the way it works with good hitters. And he has great hitter talent, but he doesn't have a great hitter approach.
You're reminding me of. I'm going to real quick on it. You're reminding me of all the years I watched Puckett and Molitor up close, and of course they hit a million line drives, and of course they hit home runs, and they hit balls off the wall, and they hit, But you know what they also did? Those guys got more bloop hits than anybody I've ever seen, and it wasn't because they're not good at hitting and they got lucky. It's because if they had 2 strikes and you threw them a tough pitch, they were going to find a way to get that ball to the outfield. Yep. And it wasn't going to be ugly, but it was going to fall between 3 guys, and it counts the same as all the other hits. Buck never gives himself a chance to get that kind of a hit.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I wish his speed would be more prevalent on the base paths because of that. He has talked about stealing more bases, and the issue he doesn't get the first base enough, because he doesn't draw a lot of walks. And once his ability, once he touches the ball, it's an extra base hit. So he doesn't get the bloop singles or like the soft singles or 2-strike singles. That would give him the first base more, where he can possibly swipe second more. Just because, and that's not saying it with a lot of respect, because the fact that if he's touching the ball, it's going to be at least an extra base hit. That says a lot about the player. But I just wish there was more ways that could show up on the field when he's playing. And Roy's point to how he handles 2-strike situations is a valid one.
A lot to get to in the next couple editions. Again, some big picture Twins subjects to get to today. Let's switch to our Booze and Blues segment. I have
before we get there, Jim, I just have one more comment. This is a mock statement that is just so apropos here that I wanted to bring it back. He was they were playing the Reds. I was watching again. They were playing the Reds. This is back in the 60s. Maybe it was later. Maybe it was by the time he was getting toward the end of his career with the Phillies. But anyway, Gene's talking to me about Pete Rose and other hitters around the league, and he goes, "Look at Pete. Yeah, he gets a monstrous amount of hits that these other guys, they don't even want.
Right.
They don't even want those hits.
Yep.
They don't try. They don't care. They don't like them, right? And meanwhile, Pete's got 4,000 hits because he'll take whatever kind of hit he gets. The aesthetics of it meant nothing to Pete, boy. It was, and I just thought it was such a typical mock thing to say when he's pointing out what we're talking about. He gets hits that other people don't want. Well, Buck doesn't want them. Buck don't want them.
Hey, Torrey Hunter in his 30s, mid-30s, he found out he wanted those types of hits, and he extended his career that way. He saw there was money out in right field, right center, and he started accepting those hits later in his career, and it allowed him to play till he was 40.
With Pete, what guys don't realize is there's not just broken bats and dunks out there. There's doubles and triples the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have that kind of talent, and there's home runs to your pull field on mistakes when you're just trying to wait and see the ball and hit it the other way, and all of a sudden you're right on a breaking ball because you're nice and relaxed and waiting on the ball, and it goes 600 feet to left field. And all the guys that you mentioned, Puck, Molitor, Cabrera, George Brett, Don Mattingly. I mean, I could go on and on and on watching these guys, at least with 2 strikes. Say, okay, left, my pull field's out for now. I'm going to hit it the other way. And then lo and behold, the pull field shows up because a pull field pitch shows up. So anyway, sorry, I'm ranting, but it's
good.
I had a quick George Brett story if you had 2 minutes. One thing that impressed me about George.
Well, it's a George Brett story, so it fits into our Booze and Blues category.
With George, sure. Yeah, I did. It does. No, but when I was in Kansas City, they still had that AstroTurf at Kauffman Stadium, and in the summertime, it gets smoking hot in Kansas City. They'd have like
melt your shoes.
Where it's like 10 days of 100-degree weather, and that turf would get bouncy, and George knew that, and so. He estimated he got about 60 or 70 doubles in his career just by hitting what appeared to be a routine, soft, floating single out to the outfield, knowing that it was going to hit that turf and bounce a little bit higher. And he would race the second and leg out a double on those. He thought he got like about 60 doubles in his career, taking advantage of that. So that's another guy who used his environment to his best abilities. Watching him hit after a night out in the town was very impressive.
He sweated out the beer on the base paths.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite. He came in one Sunday after a Saturday night being out, laying on the training table, desperately hoping that Whitey would not have him in the lineup. Just couldn't hardly see. Whitey comes in, sees him laying there, comes up, pats him on the leg and says, playing third, hitting third.
It also this story time now reminds me, I'm talking to Kevin Tapani, mid-90s. They're playing in Chicago, and they had like a noon game one day, and they had like a 7 p.m. start the next. And I see Tap in front of his locker, and Tap liked his beer, like most players back then. And we're talking, and I sensed that he wasn't 100%. And I said, "You all right?" He said, "Man, people tell you that it's a bad, that people tell you that a day game after a night game's tough, but man, night game after a day game, you get in real trouble."
Really true. Really true. I've seen a lot of that.
Good stuff, guys. So next few weeks, we're going to talk more big picture Twins. So what does this team look like in the future? How do they handle being, the fan apathy that they're dealing with right now. Who are they going to trade? Which young players are going to come along? We'll have a lot of topics. We'll probably talk less about the games and more about big picture stuff, but we have the right people to do that. Great stuff from Roy and Lavelle. I appreciate it. Thank you all to those who listen, and thanks to all of our sponsors making all this possible, as well as thanks to all of our staff at TalkNorth.com. We will talk to you next week, and we appreciate it.